okay, it's like, you know, a couple of days per month, I can live like I have it all. I'm just gonna, you know, just a couple of days per month. And that's actually the benefit of basically having very little financial resources. Right, you could say it's terrible, but it isn't. You know, what's terrible is if you just buy stuff all the time and it doesn't even mean anything anymore. You know, you go to the shop and then you just walk around, you can take whatever you want. There are no restrictions. It's a fucking hell. Because, you know, if buying things doesn't mean anything anymore, then why are you still buying? I mean, the way I do it, I'm not doing it because I have to. You have to understand this. I want to do it like this. The problem that I have is that, okay, what's gonna happen if I have more money available at my disposal that I can use? Well, by this time, I figured it out already, which means, you know, it's not the money that I need. I need a bit of it. But it's also, of course, what you do with the money. So now I had the month starts, I've got 70 euros. You know, I've got 70 euros, that's my pocket money. That's what life gave me. Here, 120 euros per month, okay, and the apartment. But I've already managed to spend, you know, I was living over my expenses. I had minus 50 at the end of last month, which is why in this month then I have, you know, minus 50 plus 120, which makes it a rough 70. Now I've already spent 10 for the wheat that I bought, and now I've spent 13, and yesterday I spent, I'm not sure, 6 or something. That means another 20 off, so now I have 40 left for the entire month. You know, this month I'm not taking internet because I just can't afford it. You know, I'd rather take the 10 euros and invest it into maybe going to the Boulder Hall than having internet, because I can have internet for free. I don't call people. Not really. So if somebody wants to have contact with me, you know, they may as well call me. Yeah, I'm gonna go the same way back that I came. It's getting really hot now. And I think they just bought a chicken from the shop. And I didn't buy the, you know, 20 euro organic one. No, I bought the standard 8 euro one. And why? Well, first of all, the organic one was way too big. That's one reason. And then the other reason is, you know, I don't want to buy organic stuff because it's just marketing. Maybe it started out good, but to be honest, you know, I don't have to fly business class. You know, if you travel and if you fly, I think then there's a point to it to just travel like everybody else does. You know, why do you have to set yourself apart? Because that money could be used for something else. You know, I'm just saying that now, but I also have to be honest. Well, I have no money. And if I would have a lot of money, would I travel business class? It's a valid point. Well, if you do, right? If you do, don't feel bad about it. But I don't think that the chicken that you buy that is cheap, like the 8 euro one, as opposed to the 20 euro one, I don't think it's, you know, it's not gonna kill you. If you feel like eating chicken once in a while, well, it's probably better to get it from somewhere. But I just want to, you know, it is in a way part of the experiment. I just want to see how I will feel after eating this. And I think I will feel amazing. But now the doubt remains. You know, what if it's gonna make me feel bad? Well, what doesn't? You know, I wake up and I feel bad, and then I eat muesli, and then what? You know, then I start feeling better, and an hour later I feel bad again. So, you know, how does food really have anything to do with feeling good or bad? Because, you know, if I start feeling bad now, and then I eat, you know, whatever hangry is, and then I eat, and an hour later I feel bad again, maybe it's the food that's making me feel bad. And I just keep eating it, right? You see, that's where people are a little bit confused. And now I've also figured it out again. You know, why I feel a little bit uncomfortable. But what people have to understand is that this is work. I'm working at the moment. And this is, I think, why I feel a little bit ashamed. Because I'm not just doing this because, oh yeah, I really love doing this. No. I mean, I love doing this, don't get me wrong. But I also simply realize I have to continue. Because if I stop, it's over. Right? And that's the point. You know, it's not about having to do this. You don't have to do shit if you don't want to, but I want to do something. And this is what I settled on. What came easily to me, you know, doing these things. It just came easily, playing around with my computer until I get somewhere, right? You know, I loved working with LaTeX during my dissertations. You know, just trying to figure it out, how to make it look like you want it to look. And yeah, for the dissertation, I didn't really put in a lot of effort because my heart wasn't in it. It was just something that introduced me to writing large books and knowing that you can do it. And then when I got down to the next phase, you see, that's, for example, one point. If I would be forced by life to sit in a wheelchair, now the question you have to ask yourself, which one would you pick? The electric one or the sports wheelchair that you have to motion with your arms? Which one would you pick? Well, for me, it's like, there's not even a question. I mean, now I see someone. It's okay to speak about people because they should be aware of how they look like. And if they're not, well, then it may even help them to point it out. You see, they have an electric wheelchair and then they drive up a mountain and they smoke. You know, some people think just because they are in a wheelchair, they're impaired. But to be honest, there's people in wheelchairs that are fitter than people that are not in wheelchairs. Because what's a car? It's basically a wheelchair. So the question you have to ask yourself, wait, are all these people impaired, Daddy? Why do they need to drive around in a car, Daddy? Now, if you get your children to that place where they ask you these questions, I think you've won. You know, that's probably the idea. You know, I want that my children are a little bit awkward in society, because if you're too familiar with this kind of shit show, you know, you forget who you are. And the only way to remember is if you are really determined. I want to know it now. How did humans used to feel? You know, how did it used to be? How were relationships like? You know, how did we build? You know, where do these round shapes come from? And why is it now everything so square? You know, why do people think everything has to be so neat and gray? Right? Where are all the colors? Well, that probably comes from industrialization. Yeah, there's no time to make it round, just make it square. Yeah. So we have to continue to find solutions for problems that, you know, are being created on a large scale simply by holding on to the way, you know, we once did things. You see, just because somebody had an idea to, you know, develop a shoe. I mean, I encourage you to read the book Born to Run. It may blow your mind and open your eyes about the shoe industry. You know, you just have to look at people's bodies, the way they walk, the way they move. But if you don't know how you're moving, then it's very hard to see. Well, I feel good about the chicken. I feel good about the chicken. You know, I picked it, I realized, well, the one for 20 euros is too much. I'm just gonna get the one for 8 euros. And then I picked 2 cans of beer, 1 Guinness and 1 like a mixed limo beer. Really nice. I mean, really, really nice. And then I did, you know, I think I'm gonna just keep living like this. I mean, not like this, but just to try to relax a little, you know? I mean, sure, if I don't have anything for weeks and weeks on end, but I know I can get by. Why the chicken? I don't know. I just feel like this needs to be in here, if you know what I mean. And it's just really nice to allow yourself these things, because some people's idea of what spirituality is about, including mine, are very rigid. You see, you can have sex with anyone. But the problem is, you don't want to anymore. You know, I could be a vegetarian, I could be a vegan, but to be honest, I like eggs, and there are a lot of eggs. So to not eat eggs would be kind of selfish, because they're being produced anyway. So why can't I eat it once in a while? I mean, sure, they say that Jesus said, you know, you're supposed to be a vegetarian. Well, do I have to be? I don't know, because this could be considered a fruit if you really stretch all these words that we're using. You know, this is meat and this is all separation, because in the end, what's the base is it's energy. And if I eat it and I think it's gonna make me sick, then it's gonna make me sick, and then I'm gonna have proof, which means, you know, I'm just proving to myself. Sure, you know, meat is harder to digest. It's a different form of energy. It's the same thing but it's not a power meat, but you could maybe make it into one. So what's it gonna be, chap? You know, are you going to go to the Boulder Hall tomorrow or today? Cannot say. Tomorrow, you know, I could join this guy who gives the Qigong lessons, but I just keep telling myself I don't want it. I keep saying it simply because I don't want it. I don't want to be taught by you. I don't think I like you. And then, but maybe he could be a friend. Well, there's a reason why I like working alone at home, and the reason is pretty obvious to me, because I just don't like other people that much. I mean, I like them, but they just have different ideas about life than I have. So that brings me back to the conversation I just had. When I started my walk and when I stopped the recording and I said, wait a second,